Hello class, today I'll be talking about two different brands. The brand Rolex, which you can see right here, is a watch, and Cartier, which is jewelry. So a little background about Rolex is Rolex is a brand of Swiss wristwatches and accessories well known for their quality and uniqueness. The watches have become a status symbol of the rich and famous. Although it is a symbol of success, Rolex has earned its strong reputation through innovation in design and functions over many decades. Now, the Rolex SA company was founded in 1905 by Mr. Hans Wilsdorf and his brother-in-law, Mr. Alfred Davis. The company name Rolex, however, was officially registered on the 15th November 1915. Now, the company name also was officially changed to the Rolex Company during 1919, and then later it was changed to Montres Rolex SA, and then finally to Rolex SA. Now, among the company's first innovations are the first self-winding watch, the first waterproof watch case, the first wristwatch with a date on the dial, the first watch to show two time zones at once, and most importantly, the first watchmaker to earn a coveted chronometer certification for a wristwatch. To date, Rolex still holds the record for most certified chronometer movements in the category of wristwatches. Rolex was also the first company to create a truly waterproof watch. Rolex has also made a reputation in watches suitable for the extremes of deep-sea diving, aviation, and mountain climbing as well. So, sports model include the Oyster Perpetual Sea Dweller 2,000 feet in 1971. Another is a GMT Master, originally developed at the request of Pan Am Airways to assist pilot in transcontinental flights. The Explorer and Explorer Second were developed specifically for explorers who would navigate rough terrain such as the world's famous Everest expedition. Now, that's a little background about the Rolex company. So let's go on to the social media. For Facebook, they have nearly 6 million people who like their page and 6 million people who follow their page, basically. For Instagram, they have about 3.5 million followers, which you can see right here, 3.5 million followers. For Twitter, the fact that Twitter continues to be a main source of information and influence for a number of generations, Rolex is kind of distinctly absent from it. So I tried finding out how many followers. Like, they don't even state, they put their profile on private. Literally, you have to be accepted to see their public image, like to see their public information, everything about them, which I couldn't get much of information about it. Anyway, for Pinterest, it's not 2,000, it's actually, here it is, 24,931. So that's a little background about their social media. Moving on, for their audience, they have the current market target for Rolex is the product that are created for those who want to show off their wealth, basically. The typical Rolex owner is male and above the age of 35, sometimes a celebrity or a sports figure. Rolex is an international brand of Swiss watches that is valued all over the world, with over 50% of the market residing in the US, Hong Kong, China, France, and Singapore. For the market segment, it is 21 to 35 years old male living in the US who have currently landed a high-paying job, earned a promotion, or received a bonus. These are young men who want to show off their newfound status. As for the secondary market segment, it's all about parents and grandparents of 18 to 24 years old who are rewarding their son or grandson for graduating from high school, college, or even obtaining a new job. These are 40 and plus years old men and women making above $65,000 per person per year. As for the content and participation, you have magazine advertisements. So Rolex places ads in men's magazines such as the Maxim and GQ, and these ads help educate them on the value of wristwatches as reward and alternatives to cell phone to tell time. For billboards, ads will be placed on billboards in major cities, mainly in affluent areas, to hit the target market. As for ads at sporting events, ads will be strategically placed at sporting events that young men attend, including but not limited to basketball, football, and hockey games. Like for tennis, for example, every time you watch a tennis match with Roger Federer, he's the biggest brand name. Like, he represents Rolex, like he's probably the biggest the most important person to represent Rolex. You see these ads all around the tennis courts every time. As for sponsorship of music concert, Rolex will sponsor concerts that are popular with the target market. Now, moving on to the content and comments. Well, this is what Rolex specifically stated to Mashable. Creating a buzz is not the intent. We craft our content thoughtfully, privilege quality over quantity, talk only when we have something to say and when we feel it's right. As for the comments, it's I didn't see much of a negative comments when I looked at Hootsuite right here. Let me refresh. One sec. Okay. So you see, I'm just like, this is basically on Twitter or Instagram. You know, these are like people. I guess they're just happy about the watches. They're actually, I don't know, Rolex, and I guess it's rich people basically. So it kind of represents power. So people actually don't have anything bad to say about the brand. They're literally marketing Rolex for Rolex, literally. Well, I don't know why this guy would hold. Anyway, it's not my problem. But that's a little bit about the comments. As for the situational analysis, their strengths are basically Rolex is a strong brand with a long history of high quality luxury watches that are the ultimate aspiration of the consumer. A Rolex is a status symbol known throughout the world. They have 28 affiliates worldwide and rely on 4,000 watchmakers in over 100 countries, which give them a prominent global presence. The weaknesses include the price point, which only the affluent can afford. Another problem is that the current generation has grown up with cell phones, so they use cell phones to tell time rather than look at watches. And finally, Rolex also produces a high volume of watches, which is a problem with watch aficionados who often prefer to be unique and own pieces that few others own. As for the opportunities for Rolex, it includes the development of an effective social media campaign. For example, Rolex has a website with a YouTube channel link, but does not have links to other social media sites. These accounts will allow Rolex to have an open dialogue with their customers as well as potential customers. Another great opportunity for the brand is to educate the younger market so they understand the value of watches and buy upstream later in life. Rolex can also continue to come up with more limited edition of their watches that would create more individuality. As for the threats, one of the biggest threats is the current recession. People are spending less money on frivolous purchases, and high-end watches are certainly not a necessity. Another great threat is the wide variety of counterfeit products that are in the market. There are manufacturers, especially in China, like the black market. They produce knockoff Rolex watches that look and feel exactly like the real thing. Also, another factor is Rolex produces about 2,000 watches a day, and that is the highest volume in the luxury watch industry. The higher the volume produced can equal to lower quality, and other high-end watches companies are also a threat, including Omega, Cartier, Roger Dubuis, and Patek Philippe. Now here's a little background about Cartier. Cartier is a French luxury goods conglomerate company. The company designs, manufactures, and distributes and sells jewelry and watches. It was founded in Paris, France in 1847 by Louis-François Cartier. The company remained under family control until 1964. Now the company maintains its headquarters in Paris and is now a solely owned subsidiary of the company Financière Richemont SA. Now, Cartier is well known for its jewelry and wristwatches, including the bestiary, best illustrated by the Panthère Blanche of the 1940s, created for Wallis Simpson. The diamond necklace created for the Bhupender Singh, who was the ruling Maharaja of the princely state of Patiala from 1900 to 1938, and the Santos wristwatch of 1904. Cartier has a long history of sales to royalty and celebrity as well. For example, Kate Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, has been seen wearing the Cartier Ballon Bleu timepiece. King Edward VII of England referred to Cartier as the jeweler of kings and the king of jewelers. For his coronation in 1902, Edward VII ordered 27 tiaras and issued a royal warrant to Cartier in 1904. Similar warrants soon followed from the courts of Spain, Portugal, Russia, Siam, and so on. There are a lot of countries to name. Now, A little about their social media is Cartier right now has for their Instagram 4.7 million followers, which you can see right here. Now that's 1.2 more million followers than what Rolex has. For their Facebook, they have about 4 million followers who like their page and 4 million followers who follow their page. Now that's about 1.8 something million followers less than what Rolex has. That's bad. As for Twitter, they're better than Rolex because like Rolex puts their things on private, but Twitter they have 372,000 followers. That's a bunch more, you know. And as for Pinterest, they have 21,741 followers, which is less than what Rolex has. So Rolex is beating them in that category. As for their audience, now, Cartier does not target on women only. Gentlemen have a new everyday luxury piece, the Drive the Cartier watch, which starts at $6,200. Now, only 2%, 2,000 users are not considered with premium prices. Now, 25 to 34 years old are the primary drivers of sales in footwear, watches, and jewelry. Out of the 1,315 internet users 16 and plus years old, 20% who bought luxury brands were women and 21% were men. Now, that's just a little bit about their audience. For their participation, their participation is public figures. They continue to garner attention, credibility, and impact. Public figures can span from film stars to music personalities, from sports personalities to royal families, and even designers themselves. As for the content is social media integrated campaign are used to promote a collection of tank watches. Features the video via an interactive Facebook application to help people understand more about it. It shows Cartier growing reliance on social networking tools to create awareness. Like they try and interact with the younger audience to shows PR news such as Cartier supports women entrepreneurs worldwide. And that's a little something about their basically their content. As for their situational analysis, their strength is they have a strong historic brand image. They are worn by public figures and loyal customers as well. Their weaknesses is men don't aspire to own a Cartier watch as much as women. Luxury market that was hit hardest by the global financial crisis is another weakness, and the lack of creativity and progression within Cartier design is a weakness. An opportunity is marketing communication campaigns aimed at men. Now, as for the threats, the product has to be treated with sensitivity, and using mobile phones also is another threat because the younger generation don't use watches. So here are a couple position strategies of graphs. So right here you can tell the percentage and the brands. Rolex is first, like 55, then Cartier is right here, 27. So Rolex is first here. Then you have the affluent and the age. Affluent on a scale of 1 to 5. And the age. Rolex and Cartier are kind of the same for the affluent, but the age is just different, so they compare here. And this is one of my favorite graphs. It's about the price and the desirability. Rolex has more desirability and their prices are higher, and people still choose them over Cartier because Cartier is second, then Tiger, Omega, and Breitling. So overall, I believe Rolex is stronger than Cartier, because Rolex kind of symbolizes, when you look at these pictures, you can look at it as a way of power, you know, richness. It represents that type of mentality, you know. Whereas you look at Cartier, it's more just about jewelry, more about love, you know, looking nice in public, things like that. And it targets, here's the thing that I don't like about Cartier, it targets more females than it targets men, and I think that's something they should work on. Now, some of the things that they can do to improve their social media is, first, they need to carefully develop a plan. Like this plan should be specific to your campaign but also fit your overall social media strategies, meaning that your goals shouldn't conflict, and the campaign should be a good continuation of your brand's existing and social voice. They also have to remember that there are different social media networks that exist for different purposes. Like for example, you have Instagram and Facebook are good networks for target millennials, but you won't find many Gen Xers or baby boomers on Instagram, so you have to understand that. Secondly is clearly define your goals. Before starting any marketing campaign, clearly define your goal. Decide on how you want to achieve at the beginning of a campaign makes it easier to measure later on and analyze your results, such as increase your brand awareness, drive more website traffic, drive visitors loyalty, improve conversational rates with customers or potential customers. Third thing is cross-channel promotion. The benefit of promoting your social media campaign across additional channels are twofold. Those you reach via social media are reminded through other communication, and those who aren't active on social media are informed. So your followers are already familiar with your brand, so they are more likely to see your campaign on social media. Therefore, they will be more likely to engage or participate after being reminded through a different channel. And lastly, it's a thorough analysis. How did your campaign perform? Was your social media program successful in reaching the goals you have set out? And those are the things they can use to improve their social media. And these are my references about where I got all my information from and everything. So it's legit. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.